Spin Southwest.
Excuse the red dress, I'm getting awful abuse for it already, so we'll try to keep it not all natural. Right, I'll introduce our guests, no doubt, a panel of experts. Welcome to Up for the Match for Newtownshandrum, and I will call on our first guest tonight, Liam Sheedy, of course. Liam, All-Ireland winning manager of 2010 for Tipperary. Limerick man and captain of 2013, Donal O'Grady. Munster titles under his belt, James Ryan of Limerick. Another man with 2 Munster titles for Limerick, it is Stephen McDonagh. All-Ireland winning captain, 2 All-Stars, 3 All-Ireland, it's Ben O'Connor of Cork. Welcome, gentlemen. Ben was a bit late. Game with Charleville, how'd you get on? One-handing. Speaking to this bit. Okay, obviously tonight we're going to have a look for Up for the Match for Limerick and Galway, but we're going to go back to this year's, I suppose, championship campaign. What a campaign it was. The real winner this year, whether Limerick or Galway win, is hurling. Liam?
Well, I think if you're from Limerick, I don't think you'd be looking for the real winner to be hurling. I think you'd be meant for the real winner to be Limerick. So I say that's very, very clear. No, it's been a fantastic year for hurling. Obviously, normally if you had 7 or 8 matches played and you were still in, you'd be Ireland champions handy. You probably won the gold match in the men's night as well. So there's, like the 2 teams are there on merit. They've had a really tough campaign. Cork, I guess, or Limerick, I would say, are benefiting from the fact that they lost actually, because I think losing the match is not a bad thing, because I think they've tasted defeat, and I think that defeat has probably driven them on. And fairness to Galway, All-Ireland champions last year and are gone unbeaten again this year. And you know, to me, they probably should have been dumped out of the championship in last Sunday, but you know, Clare just couldn't get them over the line and couldn't get them out, and that probably shows you the resilience that they have. So I think we're in for a cracker of a game on Sunday week, and look, you know, I think the air of excitement that's building in Munster and in Limerick is phenomenal. You know, I think the support and the energy that's coming behind the team in Limerick is amazing. So I think we're going to have a really good hurling final, a really good sporting occasion, and should we talk about who might win it there on?
I suppose for the Limerick fans here in the room, you were the only man on the Sunday game to tip Limerick to head to the All-Ireland final.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I tipped Limerick, and with 10 minutes to go, I was saying, Jesus, what did I do? What am I tipping Limerick for? And Henry Sheffield and the Gerald there were laughing at me, because I thought when Limerick had the 5 wides just after half time, I thought their chance was gone and when they went to 6 points down. But I think Limerick, to see the way they've come back in the quarter final against Kilkenny after giving the goal, and to see the way they've come back after going 6 points down and to win it in extra time, I think John Kiley couldn't be happier, because he knows he's got a really good team, he knows he's got a really strong panel, and he knows going up here they have a real chance of bringing home Neil McCarthy for the first time in 45 years.
Dodge, you were next to me in the press box on the day commentating for Live 95. I'm sure some of you have heard that commentary by now. Tad bit excited?
Very excited, jeez. I tell you, I'd rather have a brutal game in Grove Park than be on the outside watching in, because like as a player you're nervous today at a game, obviously, but once the parade goes around or the game starts, you're fine. But being a supporter, I tell you, at 10 o'clock Sunday morning my nerves were at me, and I just burning sensation in my stomach all day, and not nice. And of course when we were closed in Cork, 6-5, 4-3-2, whatever, and I tell you, I was gone. I was hanging off the side of the Hawk instead. I forgot I was on the radio. I think I thought Hawkeye where to go on stage, but all part of it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was great.
Of course, as a player yourself in the day, what is it on the day? Hype and nerves? Is there such a thing?
As in hype, is it?
Yes, nerves on the day, coming out in Croke Park.
There's nerves. No, me personally, like I'd be fine. I'd sleep the night before, no problem. But once 11 or 12 o'clock comes and that famous journey, I suppose after the last team meeting in the hotel to the stadium, you'll be nervous. Like, you know, Wayne Mack used to always say there was a little demon above his shoulder telling him that his legs are gone and he's useless and all this, and he'd be snapping him, telling him go away. No, we didn't all have that problem. But no, he was a great player first, but he used to always say that. But yeah, all the doubts come in, they all set in, you know. But once the game starts, as I said, like we all have a plan and we all stick to it, and hopefully come 5:30 and the Sunday evening of the match, we're out the right end of it.
Great. James recently retired. Do you wish you stayed an extra year?
I don't know. No, look, every player has his day. I just didn't have another training session in me, to be honest. That demon was telling me my legs were gone there last year, and they were. Look, obviously, as I said there last week, you have a bit of self-reflection coming down the road when you were there last year and all that, but the intensity these boys are training at, and we done the same last year. It's not pot luck during the final, even though they're young. You see how fit they were going into extra time against Cork last week. We just trained at an unbelievable intensity. I remember there last year, this is kind of one of the moments when I knew I was gone. Group of us came in and we were out on our feet. Now we had to jog in. There was no walking, and you'd be trudging away. Next thing to jog in, and Gavin O'Mahony came in, another fellow who retired there with me last year. He says, lads, that's what it's all about. We went to the well. Every ounce of energy we had, we left it there in the field. And it was a great speech now, Nixon Park goes, right lads, only half an hour left now. That's when I knew anyway, the show was over. I looked at Gavin, he looked at me, and it was a, stop.
Last year when you were there, obviously some of the lads were there, did you notice something different about the team?
Look, again, it's very easy to say that now because we're in the final, but we didn't have great results last year. I would have been very, the team would have been very disappointed with the results last year. We took Kilkenny close in Nolan Park, felt we had a chance to win it. The Clare game kind of didn't go our way, it was all over the place. But I suppose looking at it now, it was a team that was in development process. It took a year or two for transition to go there. You had these very good young lads that we see now coming in, kind of pushing the older lads out, like should dodge left before they even came, it's all coming. Look, to be honest, I've been a bit of humble pie here. If you'd asked me at the start of the year, I was kind of questioning whether Limerick would come out of Munster this year, because you Tipperary were looking like taking Galway to the point. You had Waterford were in the All-Ireland final last year, then you Cork were Munster champions. So you were looking at Limerick and Clare being 4 and 5, and next thing the two of them could have been in the All-Ireland final. So look, they were always going to come, this team. They were in a minor All-Ireland that they lost. They won 221, so they were always going to come. But it's just a year or two maybe earlier than I thought. I don't know, other people might have thought it's coming at the right time. But look, you could see, what I could see was a training once or twice, and I suppose every player sees in his career. I remember Kyle Hayes in there last year, and the ball broke, and I turned. By the time I turned, he was gone with the ball, and you saw like, oh, this lad, and Keane Lynch and Declan Hannon a couple of times had the ball in their hand, and you're saying, yeah, that's a little bit more than what myself and Dodge So
then
Stephen, what do you think? Do you agree with James that it might be coming a bit too early for them?
I don't think so, Valerie, to be honest, you know. I think they're in a good place at the moment. They have about one blip against Clare. They have every question they've answered them all the way up along through the year. They're really well prepared, grounded, a fantastic bunch of lads, absolutely fantastic. I was lucky enough to be with a good few of them, in the minors in 2014, and as characters, and his lads and his people, they're excellent. You know, last Christmas morning, 12 or 14 of them, you know, saw fit to go to the children's ward in the regional hospital, you know, totally unprompted. So look, they're grounded, they're well done, but you know, now is the hour, Valerie, to be honest. I wouldn't be going looking at next year saying they're young, they're in the All-Ireland final now. I think they have a massive, massive chance, but they're up against the All-Ireland champions. And Galway are not the All-Ireland champions for nothing. They were worthy All-Ireland champions. Just talking to James earlier on, he just made a very valid point that Galway this year have kind of stuttered along, you know, and they've not really reached the heights of last year. You'd be just concerned, you know, can they do it on the day that's most important? It's a possibility. But I'd be quietly confident, Valerie. I think we've answered, as I said, all the questions up along. We're coming with real momentum, with a very grounded bunch, with a good management team. With very, very little hype in Limerick this time, which is the most important thing. We do hype in Limerick better than anybody else. But this year is different, for certain. John shut the whole thing down in the press conference immediately after the Cork game, and he laid down the law, you know, straight out. That there wasn't anybody to be contacted, and he was the boss and he took charge. And like it or not, that's the way it is. So look, quietly confident, Valerie, to be honest.
Yeah, that word hype is banned from John Kiley's dictionary at the moment, as we were all shut down about the word hype tonight. He said it's excitement, Valerie, not hype.
Yeah, he just said it's for the player, it's for the supporters, Valerie, to enjoy it. And but you know, we're there now, and you know, 10 minutes to go against Cork, you know, you looked as if you were going to have to get a goal. We brought it back point by point, and we led it going into injury time. Patrick Horgan scored a fantastic free to take it to extra time. But for me, there was only going to be one winner when it got to extra time. We had the momentum built. Cork were out on their feet. They had a lot of injuries, and they were tired, and we had the bench to bring on. I think, you know, the lads will agree with me here, James and Doran, like, you know, even for years ago, we didn't have a bench as strong as we have now. We have conceivably 26 players. You could pick any one of 4 or 5 to come on. And that means an awful lot. Game tight. If you could look to, you know, I don't know what the team is going to be. I'd imagine it'll probably be along the same lines. I don't think John does, and the management will change too much. If you can bring Peter Casey, Barry Nash, Shane Dowling, you know, Richie McCarthy, huge experience. Seamus Hickey, the exact same. You know, they're in, you know, Barry Murphy couldn't make the panel the last game. He got a fantastic goal against Tipperary. You know, so Kevin Downs is chomping at the bit. We're told he's flying and training, you know, waiting to get on. Like, so, look, we have a strong panel.
Ben, I suppose as a Cork man, it's hard for you to sit there, and I know myself it's difficult. But Cork, what happened on the last day? Do you think it's something like the depth, the panel that Limerick had that Cork didn't?
Yeah, without doubt, I suppose. We up the last day, in my head, like if Cork were to win, they wouldn't want to be using their bench, because as you see after, they had 3 fellas that were carried off the field and they had to bring back on the win. So I think Cork had to win it in 70 minutes with 10 minutes to go. We were up 6 points. Conor Lehan missed the ball or missed the score straight from the goals. If you got that, you'd say game over. And like at the time, Steve said, you think that Limerick would need a goal to bring back in that they didn't take a point, pointed away out, Cork took away a few handy frees. And I suppose for a finish, Cork under pressure to get the last free, and how he threw it over. But as soon as the win to extra time, it was all over. Like Limerick's panel, like you bring in Shane Dowling there, Peter Casey, you bring in likes of that, like Cork and nothing on their bench like that. Like if them fellas were above Cork, they'd be on the starting team. There's no doubt about it. Like so, look, to this point for Cork, but like for Limerick, they'll probably never even get a better chance. I agree with Steve. I wouldn't be looking down the road at next year or the year after. Oh, they're young, they're coming, they're there now. Like you're on the grass, but when you're there, like just looking back at ourselves in 1999, Jimmy Barry brought in a team. There was 10 of them under 22 years of age. So maybe ignorance is bliss, like fellas didn't know what was going on at the time, like so it just got on, got going and ended up winning. Like so it's probably the same for Limerick now, as Shane Dowling said last day after the final whistle in fairness, that he said cut out the hype. And like once they keep the hype down, now it's going to be hard for the next 2 weeks to keep the hype down now, week. But if they can keep the hype down and keep the heads down the players themselves, I think they have a right chance of beating well.
Do you ever think of the Munster champions when they head straight to the semi-final? Do you ever think that adds to the pressure of maybe the winning or the losing on the day?
No, I don't think so. Like it's start the year, like every fella wants to win the Munster. Like next Sunday week, if Limerick are winning the All-Ireland final, they finish the year with nothing. Cork have a Munster medal team today, so I think like most teams, I think Limerick takes Waterford. I think everyone wants to win their provincial title. You see the matches this year, you see the crowds of it, and the intensity of all the matches. Even last day, Cork and Waterford supposed to be a dead rubber game. Waterford were up for most of it. They beat Cork, that was Cork out of it, and you had Limerick and Clare in the final. Limerick ended up losing out because Clare and Cork won in the day. So now I think every team start the year wants to win the provincial title and want to move on then after that.
Having Tipperary, Waterford and Kilkenny knocked out so early, I'm sure a lot of people are delighted about that. But Liam, maybe yourself with Tipperary?
Yeah, they can have no complaints. I mean, the current championship, you get 4 matches. You know, I suppose back when we were hurling in the 90s, you got 1 chance. And if you lost the first match, it was game over. So the stakes were much higher then. Like, you know, when you get 4 matches and 2 of those are in your home patch and you can't manage to finish in the first 3, I don't think it can have any complaints. And I don't think Tipperary have any complaints. And, you know, I suppose the excitement of it all was that the width of a post was the difference between Tip going through in Munster, and 12 seconds later the ball's in the back of the net at the other end and clear up the goal. So, like, the margins are that tight, but you know, I think the beauty about this year's championship and what's making hurling so exciting at the moment is that any team on their day have a chance of beating everyone else. And I suppose that's what makes it really exciting. I suppose we're looking at the big ball, and you know, Dublin are in a place where nobody can touch them at the moment now. Maybe we might get a different result over the weekend, but in all due respect, it's unlikely. But hurling is in a really, really good place at the moment because the quality of player and the skill level that we're seeing is just outstanding, and it's a joy to watch. But I'd say, Valerie, judging by the colour of your dress, as disappointed as I am about Tipperary, I think you share a similar fate when it comes to Cork.
Now, pick back up that mic now, Liam, you're not done. The question we all want answered. Are you going back to Tip?
Question you all want to answer? Well, that's a very easy question. I can leave the mic down in 1 second. No.
Fair enough. Dodge, I suppose, with your time at Limerick, some players, I suppose, dig deep into these psychologists. I know they've Caroline at the moment, Liam, you had her as well. These boys are buying into it, and it's obviously working.
With Caroline, yeah.
Yes,
she was with the team in 2010, and she Tyrone when they won the All-Ireland in Dublin. So we were just talking about it before, and she's had a huge influence on the Limerick setup. No, Ben made a good point. When you're young, maybe you don't worry about pressure. You get on with it. Ignorance is bliss. You know, you just go and hurl away. She has, like I said, the emotion totally stripped out of this Limerick team. Like, you know, I try to put myself back in maybe the team 4 or 5 years ago. If we were 6 points down against Cork and we started going 5-4-3, I would probably, the crowd would get involved in the game. We'd possibly start lampooning the ball to the edge of the square. The lads were like so calm and composed, and this one sticks in my head. Richie English, like, is a fiery player, you know. He's so tigerish going for the ball, and he gets it, and then all of a shot, he turns into this calm, cool hurler with his head up, looking for Limerick half back line, centre field, and back into his position. And like, you know, an outstanding season. Darragh Fitzgibbon for Cork, absolutely unbelievable. And that point he got coming in off the Cusick stand side, you know, and that was a big one for Cork. I think that was that to put him 6 up, I think. Yeah. And he turned around, and he kind of gave a roar into Richie English into his face. It was the first cousin of his, and it was great. But like, I was looking at Richie saying, "Oh no, Ray coming here, he's going to give him one." But like, it's amazing. Like, Richie straight out to the sideline, waiting for the puck out from Nicky, and I kind of just saw side of Limerick there in that little moment. I kind of said to me, "Look, it's all about hurling here. Yes, passion, but very controlled."
James, do you think it's because they're young and humble and maybe don't see a bit of fear that they are playing so well?
Yeah, look, being said already as well, and to go back to the 2 All-Ireland 21s, they've beaten the Kilkennys, they've in colleges, they've played Oscar-Reach, they've played Harty Cups, they've won it. These boys don't fear anyone. You've been inside the dressing room even before matches, and I'm not saying we were going on like a bag of nonsense, but they're just cool and calm. And they're winners. They've a winning mentality, and a lot of it is being young and fearless. And they haven't had the defeats, I suppose, that we had over the years and missed their chances. They're only taking them now. And the one thing I'd say about Caroline that she got right was, like you saw it all year, but when Kilkenny got the goal, Richie Owen got the goal there in the dying minutes of the game, not one player went back into his position with his head down. And like they always say, one bad apple can ruin the barrel and all that. Not one of them. And then the same against Cork, and they were 6 points down, you know, and people are saying, oh, Cork's legs are gone and all this, and Limerick were fresh and all that. But that's just mental resolve, and that's just having belief in yourself, and that's what a sports psychologist does, I suppose. I'd be always telling young lads there on my job, if you don't believe in yourself, who is? And that's kind of nearly the message she's getting into. And the other big thing she brings into the team is accountability. So, like you could be, I was just say there last year, I remember a couple of times, I was out in the middle of the field and maybe there was a man inside and I had a 90% accuracy rate, so I was right to go for the shot. But you'll be at training the next day, and it's the good thing about video analysis and say the bad things, but you could have took the shot, and the next day, John Kyle, whoever is saying there was 2 men inside. The better option was so she's bringing accountability into it, the video analysis is bringing in what you see in front of you, and with all them things combined, it just makes them a stronger team, and mental resolve is there because of that.
Stephen, there was none of these sports psychologists in your day.
Unfortunately not, Valerie. We could have done a few. No, but look, I think always teams that are being successful, you look at their background teams, and that's the way it's gone at the moment now. But you know, maybe, as I said, the management team is strong. Huge influence with Paul Kinnock, with Brian Geary, Jimmy Quilty is there as well, you know, so they have, you know, Joe Connor. So there's a lot gone into the management team. But, you know, always the team that's winning, Valerie, they have the best management team in inverted commas, you know, so, you know, let's see how Sunday week goes, you know.
What's the biggest change you've seen in hurling since your own time playing?
It's hard to know, Valerie, but I was just looking at a few statistics there the other day, where the 1995 All-Ireland final, there were 64 ground strokes. In the Cork and Limerick game last Sunday week, there was only 2, which is massive, like. And the other thing that I see and I watch it, the safest thing you can do now with a ball, when the ball is coming down out of the sky, is put up your hand. Because nobody hits you, like everybody tries to catch it. You know, so a lot of changes, but a lot of changes for the better. You know, there's huge amount of scores now. You know, when people go to pay to see the games, they want to see scores. You know, last year Cork played Tipperary in the first round of the Munster Championship, and you know, there was a huge amount of scores in that game as well. And Tipperary were beaten, I think, scoring 126. You know, like, so the ball is lighter, it's travelling faster and travelling further. They are the changes that I would see, you know, but they're changes for the better. I think, you know, as we move on, I think the game of hurling, players that are playing it now, the skill level they have is absolutely phenomenal. From all the teams, you know, the huge skill level they have, you know, the ability to cut a sideline ball, free taking, you know, defending, you know, I think the game is in a fantastic place. And when you look back at the Munster Championship and the championship that's been there, I don't think we have ever had a better championship than we've had this year. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I feel sorry for the club player, to be honest, Valerie. They're being kind of left out, you know. I know our own club, they played 2 matches in April and they've played nothing since. So I think that's something that badly needs to be looked at. But as regards the championship for the inter-county teams, this year has been, you know, far and away the best I can ever remember. It's been fantastic.
Would any of you agree with him on the club player issue? Who's going to take this one?
The summer off. No, it is tough. Like we were talking about yesterday, like, you know, what do you do? Like, they've tried this. Obviously, the championships blossom, so unfortunately, it kind of covers over a lot of the problems that are going on grassroots. But I think it's so important that the club team is really given priority, whatever happens at Congress or what happened in the lead up to it, because you can see the lads are filtering away in May now, heading for the States, and to be honest, the lads that are hanging around is really tough to keep the old show on the road for a few months, you know, and even trying to get a challenge game there, you know, it's next to near impossible, and they're going to play matches missing 5 or 6, 7 lads, you know, it's demoralising, and it has to be looked at because it's a serious issue all over the country, I would say.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, I suppose the changes in bringing the All-Ireland forward into August was on the basis that would free up time for the club championship later on. Because I suppose what they were trying to give the club player was stability in terms of, look, You can go on your holidays in May and June because you know that your county isn't going to be playing. Where I have a big issue is, I think Limerick, it's no harm to have a time off because your county is involved in All-Ireland finals the first time in 11 years. So if the club championship is on hold for the first time in 11 years, then I think it's fair enough because you got there. I have a big issue in Tipperary because we got knocked out in June and the first round of the county championship is being played this weekend since June. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. We should have been going into Nina and into Thurles and into these places because you should be told 3 weeks after your inter-county team are knocked out, we're starting the club championship because you've got May and June off, rather than having a situation where they don't want to start a championship because actually some of the players have gone to America. But if you know that your club championship is starting 3 months after your county is knocked out, I think then you can have a run at it because it's hard to get, like, if this was easily solved, to be solved years ago. It's not an easy one to solve, but we do need to protect the club player because without the clubs and a strong club, you won't have any counties.
Something needs to be done, James.
Yeah, I think Liam's right about that. I suppose Tip thought they'd be in there and maybe that's why No, but Liam's right that forward thinking. Liam's right that when you get knocked out, maybe you need to bring the club championship like further on. But at least club players can see it now. That at least the county boys, they can see them playing matches. Back in 13 and 14, we were lucky enough to be in 2 months of the finals, and there was a 5-week gap there, and it was just crazy. You couldn't play around the club championship because the county players were tied up training. In 4 weeks there, you didn't know what to do. So the new county championship is brilliant. I just think clubs need to adjust around it and with fixtures and things like that because it's the only obvious solution you can see at the moment.
Ben?
Yeah, well, I just saw earlier on the Michael Ryan thought he was one back as tip manager. He done an interview and he said that next year he was talking about what happened this year, and he said next year April is a club month, and he said next year that he wanted to know the key players off for the month of April because he said they came back, they were burned out for matches, they were after picking up injuries. So like straight at the top, like it has to be cut at the inter-county level, and then like if you tell the inter-county managers you have that much power over the club, like that's where it will start. Then he said that he would want to take the league serious. He thought that they were burned out after playing the league as well. Like. So I think like if you tell the inter-county manager, well look, these are days that are free for club matches, that's it, you have to release the players to get them to play. That's how it has to be done. Because if any one of us were an inter-county manager here, we want our players, we want to see them every night, we don't want to see them involved with any other team. But if you tell them, look, the days have to be filled up, they're your dates, A, B, C and D, that's the dates you have, well everyone should have singing off the same hymn sheet after that. But like at the moment, like I just see with Charleville there, they played the 15th of April and they've no championship match played yet since. So and there could be another 3 or 4 weeks waiting for the next match. Like so, it's not on like the boys say out there. This fella's going to America for the summer. They're going away. They're coming back. They've no league match missed. They've no championship match missed. So you can't blame them for going away. Like and it's hard to keep going. Then you might have 10 or 12 fellas at home training. And the same faces every night, they're doing the same thing and fellas getting sick of it. So something will have to be done, but it will have to be at the top. Tell the managers that they have to give up the dates. That's the only way I can see it through, because if it's left up to club players that organise it themselves, it's not going to happen.
How is the training role going for you, Ben? From a player to manager, how's that?
Yeah, I suppose look, this is my first go at it. I'm enjoying it more than what I thought I would. Now I suppose there's only 5 minutes in the road from home as well, so it's handy for me, like, but it's a big change, like, as Dawn was saying there, like, you see things going inside the field yourself, or if I was inside myself, I'd like to do something about it, like, but when you're standing outside, you're roaring at fellas to do this, to that, like, and it's not happening. It's frustrating at times. When you're winning, it's great, but when you're being beaten, it's not fun. And like when you're playing yourself, you're just looking after yourself. You've your own job to do, you know what you're at. But when you're over a team, with 30 fellas and trying to keep 30 fellas happy. And it's not easy, it's not easy to keep 30 fellas happy. And if there's one fella giving out over there, well, he'll tell his buddy, next is 3 or 4 from Sourwich. So it's a way easier to be a player. You've only your own job to look after, and that's it. Like, but that is good crack at it when you're winning.
Good. I suppose then go back to your own days as a player, and there's plenty of achievements under your belt, but you've been one of the many that did get to go up to the Hogan steps and did get a medal and did lift the Liam McCarthy. What is it like for you as a player, that feeling on the day, going out to Croker, the height, the panel, the parade. Do you plan for these things? Do you plan for the parade?
No, like when we were above, we had done already, and like we go up to training, and like he was the daily man for organising things. The night before we we train Friday night, we go up to train Saturday morning, and Friday night he'd have us inside the dressing room. He'd be inside giving a talk, and he'd be talking about nothing, just only all that winds up. And next thing he'd make us run out on the field, and there's a seat, stretch out outside, sit down now lads and I'll take your picture. And he'd be standing in front of us with a box, and by the way taking our picture, just getting us used to small little bits and pieces like. But like he was attention to detail, he was unreal favourite. Like he'd meet the referee before they go into match, and he'd say, like we played Kilkenny and all on the final in DJ Carey. He'd walk past the referee and say, how many steps is DJ allowed to take today? That's all he said. I'd say, I remember, how many steps can DJ take today? And what about the boys, how many can they take? It's just playing the seed with the referee straight away, like, watch steps straight away. And like small little things like that make a difference. And you can say that they don't, but they do. Like the referee, I can guarantee you that referee was, and he said, I must see now. But small things like that. But look, I was lucky enough to be there. I got 3 medals out of it. I've beaten 2 finals, I think. And look, it's a great day out. I'd love to be 18 or 19 again and go up there and go at it. Like, and like, there's, for the boys, players go in, they take none of it. It's the build up of the crowd and everything like. But once the boys get on the train on the Saturday, get up to the hotel, that's it. It's game more than after that. Like, and every fella knows what they're at, and every fella knows what they're coming to do. Like, I suppose they'd have the same partners, well, you can't say partners, they'd have the same roommates for the so every fella knows, like, and there's obviously in different places, like, there's different fellas you can't put together. Like, I got Niall McCarthy a few times now. Niall was awake before o'clock in the morning. Like, he was with Timmy Mack one time. Niall Mack and Timmy Mack working together, because Niall would be hyper and Timmy be calm. Timmy was a ball in her pocket, Timmy taking no notice. But Niall woke Timmy at 3 o'clock in the morning. Timmy, what's wrong, Mac? I can't sleep. Niall was born on Friday, like that, Niall, but see, Timmy was put with him because he didn't take any notes. Like, I've been most of the time with Sean Oak, there wouldn't be a word between the two of us. We go in, we go to mess, we go have the dinner, and that'll be it, lights out. No calls in the morning, Sean Oak about 6 o'clock in the morning, he'd at the bottom of the way do press-ups and stretch. But no, it's a great weekend to be involved in, and I'm sure that every fella's so tuned in and they know their job. The boys are there with the video analysis now, so like every fella's so tuned into what they have to do, they don't worry about anything else. It's just 70 minutes of a match, get the job done and enjoy yourself after.
Dodge, what about yourself? The experience of a day too. Who was your partner?
Trying push-ups, I was doing. Michael Ryan was his roommate, I suppose, when we were back in the Ireland final in 07, so we played 3 matches in Croker that year, so we would have stayed up there 3 different occasions, but it was Michael Ryan, but we had about funny stories. I'll tell you, Michael Ryan, Timmy McCarthy was laid back, but the Bangers, he's otherwise known as, he's the most laid back man you would ever meet. He was turned up inside in the bus heading for a game, and he'd be after milking the cows with the Limerick tracksuit on. And he'd come in and of course, everybody sitting the outside of the seat of the bus, and he said, shove in there, and bollocks and everything. But going back to the hotel anyway, Bangers, he used to wake up in the morning, and I hope you don't ever meet him to tell him this one, but he used to wear nothing, starters inside the bed. He would have any peanut, ring room reception there, we'd get a few peanuts there, if you're watching telly away, but the crack would be mighty there, but one morning anyway, he pulls the curtains right, giving out yawn, and all the girls, the partners, were outside. This is outside the Red Cow, outside the ground, waiting to get on the bus. And Bangers pulls the curtains in, and one or two look back and went, you bothered him? Not to tell him, the women are below, I better try and go in there. So, that is to be named that food.
Does having the same room with your partner matter to you on days like this? You said you were with Sean Hogue, was it?
Yeah, of course it does. Like, cause you know what they're at, and you're comfortable with it. Then, like, you know, like from the first night to the third night, you know that like Sean Hogue be in bed at 10 o'clock. He'll be up in the morning at 6 o'clock. He'll go for breakfast at 9 o'clock. You know exactly what he's going to. It's all down to time. So it does, like, you don't have to be learning things about fellas, like, so it's the handiest way to put fellas that are comfortable with each other.
Of course. Stephen, I suppose, for giving 12 years to the game, and some might say that you're part of that gang that were unlucky not to get up the steps of the Hogan. Does something like that ever come to your mind and be like, God, I wish I could do it, especially when there's someone so close in the county now this year?
Oh, Valerie, to be honest, we had 2 chances at it, and we weren't good enough, and we didn't win it. And the best team always wins the All Ireland. That's the way I look at it. I have absolutely no regrets. It's just fantastic to experience it, fantastic to play in it. Disappointed at the time to win it, but moved on pretty quickly. Life goes on. There's an awful lot tougher things about going through your life to be beaten in All Ireland final. Fantastic if you win it, but deal with it, move on quick, and look forward. I don't ever like looking back, Valerie, to be honest.
Great, that's a good way to look at it. Liam, as a manager, 09, tough year. Do you think 09 kind of give you the boost and the drive for 2010? Do you think that helps you believe in this, having to lose one to win one?
Well, I'd rather not have to lose one to win one, to be honest with you, and I'm sure Limerick will feel the same. But definitely losing one has a big impact in terms of the following year. Because, like, after the match, you're not sure you're going to a wedding or a funeral. It's all dependent on the result, to be honest with you. I'll never forget 2009, the bus journey across the cup, because we felt we played really well and felt we just didn't have that slice of luck to get us over the line. PJ Ryan had probably one of his best days ever, and Dermot Kerwin probably had one of his worst days ever. So, but I'm over it, lads. But I mean, you know, you get into the lift and you're trying to get your wife and kids away because you're crying, like, and there's adults with you and there's players in the lift, and it's a surreal feeling. And you get to say, geez, we have to face into Turles tomorrow night, and I'll go back to the homecoming, like. The homecoming, and Liam Sheedy's down there with no sign of Liam McCarthy. You know, and like, that's the reality, is they're there to see Liam McCarthy. But then you kick it on a year, and like, when you haven't experienced that, I think the fuel that it gives you for the following year was just amazing, because we were playing a serious team in Kilkenny and we knew we'd have to be at the top for a game. But I always say, if you have an old bottle of hurt in the gear bag, it doesn't do you any harm. And in fairness, I just want to compliment Cork, because if I had enough hurt, you went to bet the shite out, it was below May in the first round of the championship, and everyone wrote us off. So, and it shows you the differences in sports. Was, you know, we were wrote off after losing to Cork, and in less than 100 days we were above the top of the Hogan stand with Liam McCarthy. That's how this game works, and sport, and ups and downs. But yeah, I mean, for John Kiley and for the lads here, they're not thinking about losing one to win one. They're just thinking about going up here, and you know, for someone that's looking at the team and looking at the setup, I'd be fairly confident that this Limerick team hold no fears or no inhibitions going into Croke Park Sunday week. I'd say they just can't wait to get up there, and yeah, I think we'll get a cracking match.
I think John's being a clever man with media-wise this week, because there's nothing about the match in the papers. It's all about abuse received down through the years. Has anyone here on the panel, hands up if you've received abusive letters down through the years? Can you all?
Jeez, I can give you a box of them anytime you want. I mean, yeah, there's no sharp to letters, but you know, you get to letters, but you know, if you have a good sense of humour, you can always deal with those letters. I remember we played Galway in this same quarter final in 2010, and obviously, I don't know, does anyone remember back that far, but with about 2 or 3 minutes to go, we were 2 points down, and time was running out. It looked like Tipperary were going to be knocked out at the quarter final stage. But obviously someone from Tipperary in their wisdom said, right, that's lights out anyway. So we actually turned around, we got 3 points, we got through won the match by a point, we got into the semi-final. So as you do, you get into the team bus and you're going back over to the hotel. So I pressed listen to the messages, and there was a message left on my phone at about, I think it's about 3 minutes to 5. Well, that's the effing into you anyway, there's no harm, we were never any good for the county. So there was about a 3-minute message left on my phone saying, good riddance, and that's it. And as I said, that's the small margins in sport. So I think hate mail and all of that, you know, for all that you get, you know, a person, you know, just a quick one that I got when we won the All-Ireland, because, you know, there's the other side of it too. A person that was blind who had lived in Tipperary for years and was now living in Dublin. And we won the All-Ireland, and he listened to the match with his wife, and he was from Caparoo in the Mines. And he had no sight, so listen to me, Hall. When we won the All-Ireland, he had the match taped.
Anyone else have the dirty box into their bed or Dodge?
I got a few of them, yeah, but I only found out tonight that James wrote two of them.
More to come, more.
I got a few of them.
Plans.
What? Yeah, I know he's right. Yes, no, I did. I got a few, but I suppose.
Do you?
You do. You read them at the same time. You know, they're addressed to you, and you read them to see, like, you're trying to get inside the person's head they wrote and see what exactly is frustrating them or why they're just mentally psychotic or you know. But like, what? Actually, I had more respect for a guy that signed one or two of them. He was actually over the rough direction. He signed one or two, which is another one. Tis the fella, I suppose, or the female that doesn't sign the bottom of it and kind of leaves a bit of a snap on at the end. Like, but look, at the end of the day, we're up on the pedestal, we're representing our county. It's great when we win, everybody comes over and gives you the tap in the back, and there's probably that side of it, a small bit as well. And I suppose looking at players nowadays with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all this that's going on, you know, they're so accessible, like, and it's very easy for me to send a message to anyone in the Limerick Hurlers or the Galway players now on Twitter and say, "Hey, lad, you're useless, what you don't have the Galway team." You know, you can, it's so accessible, and I think it's important for players to kind of just put that to the side, and I hope fellas don't take it to heart because there'll be plenty of happening, let's say, in the next week or two.
Yeah, we got a green book. Were you there? We got the green book, and we got a green book, but on it had quotes, like, and a great quote, and it was like, for a player, never listen to positive or negative media, because neither has a good effect on you. So if anyone's going around telling you you're great, you buy into that. The next game, you're wondering why the ball ain't coming your way, and if you're listening to the bad stuff, you might be lacking confidence. But nobody bothered to write me a letter now, to be honest. But the day I was playing against Clare was probably verbals, like the day, a bit like that light now, the sun kind of caught my eye in the evening game, and I kind of pushed off Davy Fitz, and we were up at the time, and I was trying to get later on that. Next thing we lost it by a point, and I was over at the far end of the Gaelic grounds, and the dressing rooms were here, and I had to pass every Clare person at the game. I'd say, geez, they took it very bad altogether, but it was only a hit, like, there was hitting in the game, but no, look, people are going to say things and all that, and all them boys inside it comes back to Caroline and Johnny, and they'll be told, just don't read Facebook, Twitter. I suppose the letters are kind of gone now, it's media, because even if they're writing good things or bad things, it does, as God says, you do end up reading these kind of things and stuff, so it just doesn't have a good effect on you. So this week, we just kind of stay off the phone as much as you can and things like that.
We'll open the floor to a few questions in a minute, so have your questions ready. But let's have a quick look at the match ahead of us, I suppose. August 19th, it's not too far away. Stephen, Limerick and Galway, what are you thinking on the day?
It's going to be very tight, Valerie, I'd say. If you look at the form of the two teams, you know, all the ways up along, they'll be the two form teams in the country, and I think the two best teams in the country are in the final on the 19th of August. I think Limerick have ticked every box so far. They had a little bit of a wobble against Clare, which I think was no harm. Basically, let the air out of the balloon and focused everybody again. On the other hand, Galway, they're the All-Ireland champions, you know, have kind of slipped along without reaching the heights of last year. Just said that earlier, but you'd be just concerned a little bit about Galway, their physicality. They've huge men. Glen is a concern if they line him up on the edge of the square. You know, man in and wing back is a super player. They've got an awful lot of good hurlers, Joe Canning, and the last day, you know, they were nappy against Clare. Like, you know, Canning came out after, he was nappy and he was crossed, like, sure. You know, big time. And if you were white, you all don't know, like, you'd say to yourself, going back into training, you know, did they have these players in the right place? That they're yet to reach their potential. But if Limerick are with Galway with 10 minutes to go, Valerie, if we're in the game with 10 minutes to go, we'll win it. I'd be certain of that. You know, we have a bench, we have momentum, we'll have more support. But the question is to start well and to be in the game and be there when it matters. But we'll win it if we're there with 10 minutes to go for certain.
I'm sure you're all delighted as Limerick fans to hear that. Then, as Stephen touched on there, Galway have just barely got there. do you think there's going to be a second gear on August 19th that will kick in and we'll be in trouble?
The answer is I don't know. Above, like, I don't know, it's probably about the same thing. You're wondering, like, is there more left? And like, they've been stuttering along, they've just done enough to get over the line, and he's hoping, same as he was last day, hoping for a big one. Like, with the way they started in the last 2 games, you'd say, they're back to last year. But then they just slipped in after that. Like, so he's probably above wondering, like, is it in him? Like, they didn't win one for 20-something years. They won one last year. He's probably like a bit of the age of them. And like, I think Limerick way up. I think, personally for me, I think Limerick's biggest problem, and Steve kind of alluded to there, is their full back line. I think Galway had 3 massive men they can put in there. They're all able to win the ball there. The night Limerick played, below Clare, Kingston Park, it was John Conlon. He destroyed them down there. Galway have 3 of him. Like, how are they going to be able to manage 3 of them? Now, if they can cut out the ball, getting into the boys inside there, Limerick have a right chance. Like I was saying all year that I fancy Cork or Limerick to be Galway. And I'm not going to change my mind just because Cork are out now. I think Limerick have a right chance, and I think this is their chance. But they're just going to have to watch the Galway full forward line. And as this Galway will do anything different, they're doing all year. They're just firing the ball, Johnny Gill inside, they've Cooney inside it, and they've Conor Whelan. All 3 of them are able to win the ball themselves in the air. And I think that's probably the Limerick athletes. I think that's their problem inside there, their full back. Like their full back, he's nice hurler and everything, but is he going to be able to handle the physical man? Now, maybe after getting caught low in Kingston Park against Clare, maybe they'll have to watch it and they'll have a plan. So that was the first time he got caught this year, so maybe they'll have a plan for that. But I think if they can stop Galway getting goals, they've a right chance of winning.
Do you think that it's Jonathan Glynn that's the danger man? Do you think someone like Mike Casey can control him on the day? Glynn probably has 6 inches on him in height.
Yeah, you could do with bringing on Stephen Mack there for 5 minutes. He wouldn't mind doing the job with him. So if there was coaching lessons to be given out this week to Stephen, I'd be sending Mike Casey anyway, that's for sure. Yeah, no, look, I think Mike's going to have to be very clever because, obviously Jonathan Glenn, David McInerney went to try and field with him on the edge of the square, which to me is just kamikaze stuff, I mean, you've got to bat that ball. If you see that at the edge of the square, that ball has to be batted down and just got out of the danger area, because if he catches it in there, you can try and catch it with him when you're 30 yards from goal, but trying to catch it with him on the edge of the square is just crazy. And I would say John and Paul Kerr, the lads, will have their homework done there. Because for all the worries that there is around the Limerick foot or the Galway full forward line, I don't think Micheál Dunne will be sleeping too well when he looks up at the other end of the field either, because Aaron Gillane could have walked off with 3:30 in the All-Ireland semi-final. If Patrick Swell only played football, I'd say, is all I'd say. He got chances, but I don't think he'll drop the hurley this time, and I don't think he'll miss the kick either. So I think if they could take Dai Burke and a tour at Croke Park and get him away from the edge of that square, because he's a bit of a beast. But if Aaron Gillane gets 1-1 inside the edge of the square, I think that's what Paul Kinnerk will try and do. He'll try and get him in there on his own on a 1-to-1, because he can field ball. And if he turns this time, I think he got the chances in the quarter-final and didn't convert in the back of the net. He got the chances in the semi-final and didn't find the back. I tell you, if this guy gets the chances on Sunday week and he puts them in the back of the net, it's a massive lift. Because Galway scored 1-9 in the first 20 minutes against Clare. 1-9 to 3 points. It looked like it was game over. They got 8 points in the next 58 minutes. So these boys have celebrated well after winning the All-Ireland last year. I think there's still a bit of dirty petrol hanging around, because they're not able to see out these games, and they haven't seen out the games. But they're getting the 2-week rest, which will mean they'll come fresh. So Limerick need to start well and make sure they don't give them any impetus to get into the game. Because I think Galway will bring their biggest performance of the year, but at the same time I think they're coming up against one of the best teams in the country in this Limerick League.
Dodge, who can you see a battle between on the day who can you see as a good matchup on the field?
Yeah, we've arguments, I suppose, for every line, but I suppose, seeing as I played midfield, I'll speak about that area. I think it's where Limerick, I think, have a slight edge here to Keane Lynch and Dara Donovan. They've been absolutely outstanding. Yes, we probably encountered the best running midfielder in the country last week in Dara Fitzgibbon, or 2 weeks ago. He was superb. We had trouble keeping up with him, to be honest. But in fairness, Keane Lynch probably counteracted that a small bit by getting that goal, and then Dara Donovan and himself chipped him with a point or two from play as well. But like playing Galway, I think an awful lot of the ball Johnny Glenn will get in the All-Ireland final will be from David Burke. He he has this knack of getting the ball from the Galway half-back line, and without even looking, it's like a natural single movement swing straight to the edge of the square, and Glenn is even waiting for it. He knows exactly what's happening. So that area of the field is going to be key, because Johnny Cohen did a serious job on Tony Kelly in the All-Ireland semi-final, and I bet your bottom dollar he's going to be marking Keane Lynch on Sunday. So Keane is just playing so well. I think nothing phases him. He'll come out with his fair share of it, but that's going to be a key area, and if we can just get an edge there, it might be enough for us.
So we have to give a mention to Keane Lynch and the skills that he likes to showcase on the field someday. Sometimes you're like, don't do it in case it goes wrong for you. Do you think he's too skillful?
Yeah, there's one or two other people said that as well, but no, you love to see that as a supporter now, but as the boys and stuff, like, for such a skillful hurler, like, you could put the 6th toughest half forward line in on top of him, and I bet your bottom dollar he'll come out with the majority of the ball. He's just got this magic knack of coming out with it. He scoops it up with his leg. Like, he's built like a tank as well. This man is a machine. It took us a year or two to find out where his best position was. So he's just such a free-moving player, and Lee made a point earlier there that earlier on that, like, it wasn't a coincidence that Keane ran into that position against Cork to get that goal from Seamus Flanagan, because if you can remember back to the first game in Páirc Uí Chaoimh when we went down there, one of the crucial scores of the game was Flanagan doing the exact same to Keane Lynch, where I think it was it the equaliser or brought us within one with the 14 men. So he makes them runs all day long. He's some engine on him, and he's going to take fair watch, and Galway will definitely do the homework on him, I would say.
We always had skillful midfielders, that we that's.
Well, I thought they'd never fill the old position again.
Was that a deep Valerie and Dodge asking, was he too skillful? I think that's a bit of a deep that.
Two lefties timbering away around it.
James, what about yourself? A battle on the day, who are you looking forward to seeing it?
To be honest, I think there's going to be battles everywhere. I think the puck-outs are going to be very interesting, to be honest. We've had a massive success rate on our puck-outs this year. Obviously, the boys are half-forward line are running into space, and even corner forwards are running into space. Interesting to see how Galway cope with that. And then Skate just most of the time he hits the ball along, and we saw against Kilkenny, Shaitan Morrissey was like, God, the amount of puck-outs he got. So it's just interesting to see how the Galway half-forward line do and the Limerick half-back line for their long puck-outs, and will our puck-outs stay as, well, like, we're up on about 80-90% there, hitting the pucks there, and corner forwards coming out. So I think the puck-outs will be something big because it's primary possession. Another key battle, like, is if you look at both teams all year, I suppose any team gets to an All-Ireland final, like Aidan Hart can score there from play in the half-back, and then we've Darrell Burns can score from range, and both teams from nearly 7 up, any one of them at any given time can score from 80 yards, 40 yards, wherever it is. So the game could turn into a shootout. So I just think there's going to be battles all over the field, as you'd expect. But the big one, obviously, is Johnny Glynn, because he played so well the last day, and he's a foot taller than Mike Casey. But look, he's met big men before, so I'm sure he'll go fine.
Hopefully, I suppose. Stephen, looking at Galway, the last day they had a few injury concerns, and I know Gerard McInerney was out. Will he start the next day? Do you think the injuries could play with their mind a bit, not knowing whether he's going to be fit or not?
I wouldn't think so, Valerie. I'd say there's still a huge doubt about him. A calf injury is very quick, to try and get right in 3 weeks. I wouldn't be certain, even though the sound he's coming out of Galway, that he's going to be okay, but I wouldn't be sure yet. I think you'll have to wait probably until the morning of the game. But I watched a rerun of the Galway Clare game the other night, Valerie, and for the first 20 minutes it was very evident watching it again. Like, Clare, they just lumped ball after ball down on top of the high buck. They were trying to get John Conlon into the game, and Galway came out with it, ball after ball, time after time. But when Clare moved it low, a couple of minutes to go before half time, and certainly in the second half, when they moved Burke and got him running and moved Henry and made him travel, Galway weren't comfortable at all. Like, the 2 goals that Clare got, they waltzed in. Shane O'Donnell beat 3 or 4 fellas, and so did Peter Duggan. So I think that's something again that John Kiley and Kinnock would have looked at. Like, you can't afford to be just hitting this aimless ball down on top of the high buck. But in fairness to Limerick, in all the games they've played, there's been a huge method all the time. And even Declan Hannon has said it, like, they don't panic. They're playing to a system. They play the full forward line move. There's huge movement in the full forward line. And possibly the two greatest displays I ever saw from 2 Limerick players were the night in Cork. Valerie, Seamus Flanagan and Graham Mulcahy. The ground they covered that night when we were a man down. I think Seamus Flanagan that night covered almost 15 kilometres. The work those 2 lads did that night, to almost single-handedly drag Limerick back into the game And just after half time, a ball came out just right where we were in front of us, just at the covered stand style, and Mark Cole went out for it. Graham Mulcahy took him on, like absolute total act of defiance. And you know, while there's an awful lot of, you know, obviously big standout names with Limerick, Valerie, you know, a lad that I've huge time for and has huge respect for this year is Graham Mulcahy. He's had an absolute, you know, fantastic year up to now. Every match, 2, 3, 4 points, but he's work rate. But those two lads that night, they were the two as good a displays as I've ever seen from any from Limerick. You know, their defiance, their work rate, you know, they absolutely emptied themselves totally in the field that evening.
I'm glad you mentioned Graham because he's been completely consistent this year.
Yeah, unbelievably, I was happy to be talking to one of the management team going back in the middle of the summer, Valerie, and I just mentioned him, and he just turned to me and he said, "Sure, Graham didn't get proper ball played into for the last 7 or 8 years, and they're playing to a system."
I will have more Zoom eyes there over that. You want to mention that though, no? You alright?
We were talking, I tell you, Valerie, Tipperary had no one to mark him that the day inside the Gelly grounds in an escort. They're doing well, and there's one more day in it now. That's all. One more 75 minutes.
Hopefully one day only.
Yeah, that's all. We'll win it when it matters, Valerie, that's for sure.
Good. We'll open the floor to a few questions. Has anybody got one? Can we get a mic down the room, maybe? Where is he? Gary, are you there?